I found disability to be only one basic attribute of my personality, not my complete being. It starts building up from within, from within the individual only. As soon as we are able to adapt to the changed environment, as soon as we are able to acknowledge our own weaknesses and work on our strengths, till then nobody can help us come out of that low confidence thing and inferiority complexes and all. Many five-star hotels offer accessible rooms. They reserve some rooms that are disabled friendly, accessible rooms, but still they don't know what actually accessibility is.
For the future generation, we are going to do a big deal of favor.
I have traveled to more than 20 countries across 4 continents in the world.
Hello everybody, welcome to SL Series, the strongest women of the world, a global talk show where we celebrate strength and achievement of women from all over the world. Women are achieving extraordinary feats in everything that they choose to pursue. We should really look into every corner of the world. They're coming up with something absolutely stunning results. It is time to bring such inspirational stories out in the world so that many more women and girls will choose to find their strength and achieve whatever they wish. Simply put, this show brings the best women in the world to inspire the rest of the women in the world. Bear in mind, this entire show is non-scripted, simply heart to heart. And today's guest is a social entrepreneur and a member of Sexual Harassment Committee at Department of Disability Affairs India, and also the president of NGO Cross the Hurdles, which provides the counseling services to persons with disabilities. She has played a key role in promoting accessibility of built environment for persons with disabilities. She received several awards for her extraordinary work in this area. She recently received Henry Viscardi Achievement Award by Viscardi Center in New York, USA. Also, the National Award for being a role model by Ministry of Social Justice and Empowerment, and received the Women Achiever Award in Top 100 by Ministry of Women and Child Development. Help me to welcome Abha Khetarpal. How are you doing, Abha?
I am very well, thank you so much, and it's my pleasure to be here.
I want to ask, right, it is a very common thing where we see somebody with a disability, generally they get into the kind of a low on confidence. I would like to ask, how was your journey and how you found inspiration to really achieve whatever you have achieved so far?
The journey, it had been very difficult, full of struggles and challenges coming all my way. But yeah, the will to live, the resilience in me, it made me survive through all the challenges and the difficulties that I confronted. And the greatest inspiration I had were my parents. And they were the one who always stood behind me and helped me navigate through the challenges and the obstacles coming my way. And one thing, I think it's my inherited trait, or it's my personality, a part of my personality, that I'm resilient. I always call myself resilient, and the resilience helped me to stand up every time the life tried to bend me and I stood back again. And I always call myself to like a bamboo tree. The more you push me down, the more with the greater force I come up. All these inherent qualities, plus the environment around me, my friends, my families, my teachers, they were great, and they motivated me to move ahead in my life. And
wow, that is really amazing. I mean, you seem to be very humble in saying that people around me are really kind of, supportive system, but you seem to have created such a space within yourself. And I want to ask this very important thing, right? Most of the time, as I mentioned just now, persons with disability think, they are somehow less than somebody else and they are low on confidence. And I've seen the level of work that you're putting in, bring them the awareness that they have their own rights and they have actually a lot of things that they can achieve, just like what you are doing. So can you please share what are the most common things that you generally encounter, and then how you actually bring them out?
The greatest reason behind low confidence is the exclusion that we face, that persons with disabilities face. Persons with disabilities are always made to believe that they are different from others, then it is us versus them kind of a thing. And this makes them low in confidence, low in self-esteem, and the exclusionary attitude of the society, it makes them think so, and they mostly internalize that concept that like we are not as good as you are, or we lack something, we are weak, we are vulnerable. I never felt that. I never felt that, because I was brought up in that environment. Like my parents, they never made me feel that I was different from other children, and they stressed on my studies, and I was always made to feel the same as the other children. I could understand that I had something different than other children, but I had the ability to compensate what I was lacking through my studies, through my intellect, through my other qualities. And I found disability to be only one basic attribute of my personality, not my complete being. So disability it was a part of me. It has always been a part of me. It starts building up from within the individual only. As soon as we are able to adapt to the changed environment, as soon as we are able to acknowledge our own weaknesses and work on our strengths, till then nobody can help us come out of that low confidence thing and inferiority complexes and all. So it comes from within. But when I saw other people with disabilities who lacked confidence and lacked self-esteem and had negative body images, so I thought it was my duty, it was my responsibility as a part of the disability community to make them aware, to make them come out of that quagmire of helplessness. So I decided that I would work for them, I would encourage them, and so the things they rolled on, and now they can easily relate to me when a small girl around in her teens, she sees me and she's on wheelchair and she sees me, so she can proudly say that yes, I can also do it. If she can, I can also do it. So at that point I find myself to be successful in doing things for everyone.
Wow. Yeah. I mean, I think what you said is absolutely true, Abha. We are talking about, we should not even call disability. We should say, different ability. That is only one area of your life is having a little bit of less competitiveness compared to others. But rest of the places, you're 100% alive and you're kicking, and then you can really make the difference in the world just the way that you're doing. But let me ask, right? You have been really working on sexual harassment. You're also part of the committee. How this impacts a lot on, disability people?
Persons with disabilities, I would like to tell that they are more vulnerable to sexual abuse and sexual violence. There are two contrasting perceptions among the persons without disabilities. Either a person with disability is non-sexual, and on the other hand, they are sexually harassed and sexually violated. So these are the two contrasting things that they go through. The perception is that they are not beautiful, not attractive, not sexy. They cannot take part in sexual activities, cannot make intimate relationships, but then they are sexually violated, sexually harassed, because persons with disabilities are more vulnerable. And mostly the perpetrators are from the families, from the near ones. And a person with disability is unable to raise, not even women, even males also. They are unable to raise their voices because they find themselves weak. And sometimes they are threatened. If they raise their voices, it can harm them and all. Things are bad in this area. When we talk exploitation and much like they are every time, either they are sexually harassed, sexually they are emotionally raped. They are taken advantage of their vulnerabilities on social media, on everywhere, even there in families. So bringing awareness on this issue is very important. And what we are lacking today is sexuality education for persons with disabilities. Sexuality education is must for persons with disabilities, even for the caregivers, even for the family members of persons who are severely disabled. So a lot of work has to be done in this area. Uh, the At least the dialogue has started. People have started talking about it. Earlier, nobody used to talk about this. At least people have started talking about it, and we still have to go a long way here in this area. And what I have tried to do is bring awareness, bring about educational materials. I give them lessons on this through activities, through online trainings, like how they should protect themselves from the perpetrators who try to harass them or violate their integrity and all. And even the families also, the families of like those who have intellectual disabilities. So they have to be taught various things.
Coming to the point that you mentioned, that you are bringing the awareness, because the first step is to raise the voice. The moment you raise the voice, there are options where people can go out and find out. So I want to ask this question: do they have an option on, if they raise the voice, does it whom should it really reach to have some kind of help for them? Is there anything in the system?
I don't think there is much in the system, but yes, the laws, they protect us. The law enforcement agencies are there who protect us. There are many organizations working in these areas where they can ask for help and support. Support groups are there. So they should know whom to ask help or where to go, where to ask help. And they should know the legal processes, their rights, how complaints can be made. So awareness here is also very important. There are many institutions working in this area, and the government of India, Women Commission, everywhere we can always go and ask for help. But yeah, the legal system, here is very slow. We all know that, and I don't want to mince any words here. We have to be like direct in asking for help and support. But yeah, many organizations are working in this area.
This is definitely very important information that people should aware, because first of all, everybody is equal, like you said. And second of all, most important thing is the raising the voice seems to be first step in making sure that such thing will not really impact the lives of small area of disability, frankly speaking. Let me ask, right? I think I've seen that you put in a lot of work in bringing in all the built places, how it can be accessible to people with disability. So what do you think it should be implemented with various corporate or government companies? How do they really kind of make adjustments within their offices and to make this inclusion happen?
Yeah, the government has launched Accessible India campaign, and it had to be implemented since 2015, but still the provisions they have not been implemented. And the Right of Persons with Disabilities Act 2016, it clearly said that the state parties shall create an environment where persons with disabilities could easily reach. There should be everywhere, it should be accessible, like in healthcare establishments, in hotels, and everywhere, in entertainment areas, theaters. But the provisions, they have to be implemented. Much has been done, much has to be done now. Even the auditing of many buildings hasn't been completed. But yeah, corporate public-private partnership here is must. The corporate should take the initiative here. And while building suppose we are erecting a building, so it has to be universally designed. It has to be according to the National Building Code and the provisions laid down in the RPWD Act. But the buildings and the environment that has already been constructed, they can be retrofitted. They can be improved. If suppose a building has stairs, ramps can be constructed there according to the need. For persons who have blindness, like braille signage and tactile pavement and tactile surfaces, they can be there. So different disabilities need different kinds of accessibilities. One thing cannot fit all. When we talk, mostly what happens is when we talk about disability, we just have a wheelchair in mind. But there are many disabilities that are not even visible. There are invisible disabilities, and they also need adjustments and accommodations and accessibility. So unless everybody is sensitized enough about the need, about the cause, I think we would always be lagging behind.
I think corporates, if they take the initiation, like you said, it's going to change faster. Putting it into act and all, while it takes its own pace, but taking corporate initiation is definitely, this is a call for all the corporates for watching.
And the people who are working in corporates, the workplace accommodation can be easily made by asking an individual about his need. What does he want? How can they be supported? So sensitization, there is enough of what the HR department is always there to sensitize the other colleagues, the other workforce working there. So how to like what disability etiquette should be followed. How to communicate with the person. If a person has deafness, there should be sign language interpreters there. Because unless communication is there, we cannot do anything. Communication is the key to every kind of relationship, whether it is in the workforce or it is in the personal area. So the sensitization in corporate sector, it has to be there.
But I'm also seeing something really positive. Over the last 5 to 8 years, I've seen restaurants coming up for people with disability, both in Mumbai and one in Hyderabad. And I'm seeing this positivity building within the corporate segment as well. I mean, if that continues, I'm sure things can be much more inclusive. What do you say?
Yeah, changes they are happening, but I think the changes are at a very slower pace. They are happening very gradually, and we need to move like a little faster in that. Hospitality industry, everywhere in China, it is hotels or restaurants or like airlines, everywhere. Many things have changed, but a lot needs to be done, especially in 5-star hotels. Suppose many 5-star hotels offer accessible rooms. They reserve some rooms that are disabled friendly, accessible rooms. But still, they don't know what actually accessibility is. They still don't know, like the width of the doors, the width of the ramps, the inclination of the ramps. Everything is technical. Everything has to be measured and done. If suppose the washroom door is not wide enough for a wheelchair to go, we can't say it is accessible.
If somebody has to start bring an awareness about how this whole thing can be, more of an inclusive society, as a normal individual, where do they start?
They can start by at least knowing, suppose a person has to construct a building or a restaurant, at least he needs to have an idea of what accessibility is. There are national building codes present by the government. The government has clearly stated the conditions that can be viable for persons with disabilities, about the measurements of certain like doors, windows, ramps. They're all given. There are homogenized guidelines given by the government. It is a small document. It can be read by everyone. So when we are trying to ensure the physical accessibility or the infrastructural accessibility, that can always be gone through, and it is easily available on internet. It's just a matter of thinking about us. Like we are here on this planet, and we do need certain things, certain accommodations, and it is thinking about us. Unless we think of the disability community as a whole, and unless we think about inclusion has to be there everywhere. Means even in our hearts, in our thoughts. So unless that is done, things would be difficult to happen.
Absolutely. I think inclusion is the most important message for all the audience. Whether you're going to set up a restaurant or any business, it's an inclusive society. We're all together on this beautiful, beautiful planet. And any last advice, Abha, before we really conclude this very, very interesting conversation?
Love diversity. We should love diversity. The world is diverse. Everyone is different from each other. And as you said, differently, the word you use, differently abled. So I don't think persons with disabilities are differently able. Everyone on this earth is differently abled. You have your own abilities. I have my own abilities. So we are all differently abled. One can reach Mount Everest and one can cook chicken well. We all have different abilities. So everyone is differently abled, and we need to love diversity. We need to embrace diversity. When everything is similar, alike, it becomes monotonous, it becomes boring. So we need to embrace diversity, and life would become beautiful if we embrace diversity.
I can't agree more on this. So life is going to be beautiful if we embrace the diversity. And I loved it when you said it, right? Differently able. Everybody is differently able because we are all very, very unique in our nature. And it doesn't matter about our physical thing here and there. And it's really beautiful words. And I want to say a big thanks to you, Abha, for spending your time and sharing everything that is available for differently abled people, and then how they can actually kind of raise their voice and get through their life much more eventful, I would say. And audience, I want to say a big thanks to you for tuning into this video. And I can only say, if you have not yet liked or subscribed, make sure to hit that button and share with everybody in the world where this message can make an impact in their life. But otherwise, thank you so much and bye-bye. Namaste.
Bye, Rajesh. Thank you. Namaste.